All right, today we're going to go deep underground. I mean, really deep, because there's this hidden war raging against your home's most vital systems, and you probably don't even know it's happening. We're going to use St. Paul, Minnesota as our case study here to explore a conflict that's literally happening right under your feet. So, yeah, let's dig in.
Yeah, your home, it has a secret life. Seriously, beneath your floors, behind your walls, there's this incredibly complex network of pipes and drains. It's basically the circulatory system of your house, right? It brings in the good stuff, clean water, and gets rid of the bad stuff. And it does this silently, 24/7. But as we're about to find out, it's not always so peaceful down there.
So, what happens when those lifelines are under constant attack? Because that silent system, that lifeline, well, it's pretty vulnerable. And trust me, when it fails, the results can be, let's just say, catastrophic. So what are these hidden threats? Let's get into it.
Okay, Section 1, a city's hidden systems. To really get what's going on here, you first have to understand the battlefield. And in a city like St. Paul, with its specific history and climate, the plumbing isn't just, a bunch of pipes. It's an old legacy system, and it's facing some very, very modern enemies.
Which brings us to Section 2, the enemies of plumbing. Every good story needs a villain, right? Well, in this story, we've got three major ones, and they are constantly working to wreak havoc on your home's infrastructure. So here's our rogues gallery. First, you've got the climate, with its brutal winters and those freeze-thaw cycles. Then there's the past itself, a legacy of aging, corrosive pipe materials. And finally, believe it or not, nature. We're talking invasive roots from all those beautiful, mature trees. So yeah, homeowners are basically fighting a war on three fronts. Let's break each of these bad boys down.
Okay, first up, the freeze-thaw cycle. Let's talk about the climate. In a place like Minnesota, winter isn't just cold, it is absolutely punishing. So what happens is water seeps into these tiny, tiny cracks in the pipes. Then it freezes. And when water freezes, it expands with incredible force. Then it thaws. Now imagine that happening over and over and over again, all winter long. What do you get? Shattered pipes.
And to give you an idea of the scale of this problem, check out this number, 60 inches. That is 5 feet deep. That's the freeze line in St. Paul. To even have a chance of surviving the winter, all the water and sewer lines have to be buried deeper than that. It's just a constant battle against the cold.
All right, next on our list is aging infrastructure. This one is like a ghost from the past. See, a lot of homes in St. Paul, especially those built between, say, 1900 and 1950, were made with materials that just weren't built to last forever. You've got galvanized steel pipes that are literally corroding from the inside out, slowly choking off your water flow. At the same time, the old cast iron and clay drain pipes, well, they're just getting old, brittle, and starting to fail.
And our third enemy, this is one you might not expect. It's sewer line root intrusion. We're talking about nature itself. All those beautiful mature elm, oak, and maple trees in St. Paul, they have these huge, sprawling root systems. And to those roots, an old clay sewer pipe with a few tiny cracks is basically a dinner invitation. They are relentless. They seek out that water and those nutrients, they get inside the pipe, and they grow into these thick, dense masses that can cause a complete and total blockage. No way around it.
So, Section 3, warning signs from below. With all of these enemies on the attack, how in the world do you know if your home is under siege? Well, here's the thing. Your house will actually try to tell you. You just have to know what to look for and listen for.
So here's what your house is trying to tell you. Let's translate some of these warnings. You see discolored or rusty water coming out of the tap? Yep, that's almost certainly those old galvanized pipes corroding. Hear a weird gurgling sound from the toilet after you flush? Classic sign of a sewer line blockage. What about low water pressure all of a sudden? That could be years, even decades of sediment finally building up and, oh, this is a big one. A random wet spot in the yard that never seems to dry up? That's a red alert. That probably means a leaking or totally broken sewer line.
Okay, that all sounds pretty bleak, I know, but the story doesn't end there. This brings us to Section 4, the Modern Plumber's Toolkit. Because technology has come a long way, and today's pros have an incredibly sophisticated toolkit for fighting back. Let's see what's in their arsenal. Let's just compare old versus new when it comes to clearing a blockage. The traditional way was snaking. You'd use this mechanical auger to basically just punch a hole through the clog. It was often just a temporary fix. But now? Now we have hydrojetting. This thing uses a super high-pressure jet of water to literally scour the entire inside of the pipe, removing everything. Think about it this way.
Snaking is like poking a small hole in a dam, but hydrojetting, that's like removing the dam completely. It's a whole different level of clean.
And yeah, it goes way beyond the wrench now. The modern toolkit isn't just about brute force. We're talking about high-tech solutions. Like, they can send a tiny video camera right down into your pipes to see exactly what's going on. No more guesswork. They can even do trenchless pipelining, which means they can repair or even replace sewer lines without digging up your entire yard. And maybe most importantly, they have deep knowledge of the local codes, navigating all the permits and inspections to make sure the job is done right and legally.
And it all follows a really professional process. It's pretty straightforward. Step 1, you contact them and they dispatch a pro. Step 2, they diagnose the problem and get your approval on the work. Step 3, they do the repair, and then, this is key, they verify that it worked. It's all about being clear and transparent. No surprises, just, solutions.
All right, last section, Section 5, protecting your home's lifelines. So now that you're armed with all this knowledge, how do you go from being a potential victim of all this to being the actual protector of your home's most critical systems? Well, it really all boils down to one simple but absolutely vital question. How do you find a plumber you can actually trust? Because when you're facing a potential disaster, you have to know who to call.
And here you go. This is basically your playbook. These are the key questions you should ask any plumber before you let them start work. First, are you licensed and insured in this state? Super important. That protects you. Second, can I get a detailed written estimate before you start? This prevents any nasty surprises on the bill. Third, do you pull permits for work that requires it? This makes sure everything is up to code. And finally, what is your warranty on parts and labor? That tells you if they actually stand behind their own work.
So, we're going to leave you with this final thought. What is your home trying to tell you? The next time you hear that strange gurgle or you notice the water pressure just isn't what it used to be, listen, really listen. Don't just ignore it. Because remember, your home has a secret life, and it might just be trying to warn you about that hidden war happening right beneath your feet.